Hello, my dear sewing friend. I am happy to see you here today because you are in for a treat. In this video, 12 free sewing patterns that we'll be talking about for this upcoming fall season, some of which I am dying to make. And you guys know me very well. I usually try to stick to my tried and true sewing patterns, so this time it must really mean something, right? And the question of the video is what to sew this coming fall season. Well, actually, the fall season is already here, so what to sew right now? What are we missing in our wardrobes? So I know that I could use maybe a garment or two for my fall capsule wardrobe, and I'm sure the same is true for you. So I've combined trends for this season with free sewing patterns, so let's get this started. You know guys, people often ask me, are you always that upbeat? And the answer is yes, especially when we're talking about sewing. So if you're new here and if you're wondering if you should subscribe, you should subscribe if you love sewing, if you love creativity, if you are here to be inspired, and if you're looking for free sewing patterns, which I love because I think that they provide affordable sewing for everybody. So definitely click that subscribe button, and let's start with the first trend, which is monochromatic for this fall season. And monochromatic in terms of everything except black and white. So we're talking about different shades of reds, different shades of pinks, different shades of maroons, and any other shades or colors that you can only imagine. So I have two free sewing patterns to kind of really play around with this trend. One of them is from Tessuti Fabrics. It's a Monroe turtleneck, and you guys, majority of you have made the free Mandy boat tee pattern. I know for a fact that people absolutely love free sewing patterns by Tessuti Fabric, and they've made so many things out of them, so I'm sure you're gonna make something fabulous. And the second free sewing pattern for this trend is a color block sweater or sweatshirt by Sew Magazine. It combines two different parts, and you can play around here with two different shades of the same color, and you can even go a step further, and maybe instead of doing two parts of a color block, you can actually divide each one of the parts in one more time, so it kind of makes four different parts. And maybe you can make an ombre effect. You can start with a lighter on top and go to the darker on the bottom. That could be really cool, wouldn't that be? And you can use your remnants if you have for that, so that would be really cool and interesting idea. So those are the two free sewing patterns for the first trend, which is monochromatic. So the next trend is really fun but a little bit intimidating, especially when you make your own clothes, and the trend is putting on a suit. And here I have two free sewing patterns for you as well, actually three sewing patterns for you. One of them comes with a free sew along, but just for the month of October, and it's by Sew News, and they are sewing Silverton blazer. I am super tempted to do it myself. I love wearing blazers. A free sew along would be a great opportunity to learn. Not sponsored, so you guys know. So I'm gonna leave, as always, all links to the free sewing patterns in the info box below, so that way you can find them there. It's super easy breezy for you, and I am thinking about joining in that free sew along, and you get a free sewing pattern with that as well. And you can make so many different adjustments or variations. You can use so many different fabrics, from florals to stripes to some really fun colors for fall. I mean, possibilities are endless. Now, the next free sewing pattern for this trend, well, two free sewing patterns, they come from moodfabrics.com. Guys, if you've never seen free sewing patterns from Mood Fabrics, you are missing out on the world of free sewing patterns. I mean, they have tons, and I mean it, they have tons. So this one is for a blazer and for pants, so that way you can make a matching set. They don't come with any instructions, but they do have some pictures usually that sometimes kind of show step by step what you're supposed to be doing when you're sewing, so that is really helpful, so definitely check them out. Cardigan or a jacket is definitely a must for a fall season in majority of the countries, and this year is no exception for the trend as well. But this time the cardigans take on a shape of a really long cardigan, something that would really be almost floor length, or maybe a cloak or a poncho that goes on top of you and kind of really wraps you around. So I have a few free sewing patterns for you to try to do that. The first one is a Cardigan pattern, which really is long, and I think here you can play around with different lengths. You can try as the pattern is really long, or maybe you can shorten it as well. I think that this kind of like shawl detail of the neck of the pattern is really nice and interesting. So I'm actually thinking about making that one myself. I'll take a look at it. The next pattern is a cardigan by Life So Savory. If you love pockets and jersey fabric, this cardigan is for sure for you. So definitely go ahead and check it out. And again, you can make in so many different patterns and so many different colors. I'm not saying that you need a whole dozen of them, but it's really nice to have one or two for fall for layering purposes. Now here's a pattern that I've personally tried myself and I absolutely love, and I know that you guys were really excited about it as well, because so many of you messaged me that you're making this cardigan. So many of you asked for some advice on sewing it, and it is a Think Pink cardigan that I've made three or four times now. I was really struggling without any cardigans in my closet, since the ones that I had, were at the end of the life cycle of them. So I made a few of them right away, and I absolutely love the pattern and the final result. I did shorten it, however, so I like the shortened version a lot more than the long one, but you can make it in any length and make any adjustments that you guys need, and I definitely recommend this pattern. I think it's a really good one. There is a video where I share a few tips about how to shorten it if you would like to see that, and I will link it at the end of this video, so that way it's right there and you don't need to go and look for it. Speaking of layering, here's a perfect top for you. It's a Francis top by Fibermood, and I have never tried their free sewing patterns before, but I know that a lot of people have, and I've been reading some really glowing reviews on Instagram, so definitely go ahead and give it a try if you need one of those. And if you've been with me on this channel for quite some time, you know that my #1 free sewing pattern is Kirsten Kimono Tee by Maria Denmark, and it's a free sewing pattern, and both of the patterns are really similar. So if you have that one, I don't really think that you need Francis top. The only difference is the ruched detail on the sleeve. And if you're layering, maybe you want to kind of skip that detail not to create any bulk. So either way, here's two free sewing patterns if you've never heard about Kirsten Kimono Tee before. And again, you can make it in so many different colors and layer it with the cardigans that we've just discussed, or maybe one of the blazers that we discussed a little bit earlier. So I mean, you can make so many beautiful things. Alisa, where is that sewing pattern that you're dying to make? We're getting there. I'm saving the best for last, okay? So the next trend is moody florals. So it's not a secret that florals have been in the trend for many, many years now. And this season, those are moody florals. So not your peppy, happy, pinks and whites and greens and all that kind of tropical stuff, but more of a moody, dark florals with a lot of black, a lot of burgundy, a lot of dark gray colors, which I think is really fun and interesting. It's really interesting to see that trend go in another direction. So I think one of the good patterns for displaying that beautiful floral fabric would be a shift dress pattern from Sewing Bee. Again, free sewing pattern. It's a very simple one, features a nice little V-neck. It's straightforward. If you would like to cinch it around your waist, you can always use a small little skinny belt, but I think that pattern without any complications in it, being as simple as it is, I think it's a very good one just to display your beautiful floral fabric. Ooh, so I really want to make this pattern. Not as much as the next one, but this one is really good as well. This one is on my list. So it's a wrap top by Peppermint Sewing Mag, and it features a really nice little wrap detail. It's made out of non-stretch material. It features a 3/4 sleeve. I would definitely make a few adjustments to the pattern. I would lengthen this sleeve, probably cinch it around the wrist, and maybe with proper adjustments to the pattern, you can actually make it in a stretchier material, maybe a little bit of thicker material as well for colder fall days. But I definitely think that you can play around with it and create some really beautiful silhouettes, and it will really complement your fall wardrobe. And I also think that you can probably layer it. If the actual wrap top is made out of a thicker material, you can probably wear like a thinner top underneath. That could be a really nice idea too. So this free sewing pattern that made on my absolutely must to do list is a calypso top by one of the French designers, and it is as simple as it can be, but it features that beautiful little bow detail in the back, and I don't know what it is about it, but it is just so, I don't know, it just blows my mind. And I'm not, exaggerating. I think it's beautiful. I think it's so simple yet clean, and that bow detail in the back is just such a beautiful little accent. And I think that if you layer it with blazer, in front, you get a really nice shell top, that is perfect to wear underneath a blazer or a jacket, and you can make and wear a beautiful long necklace. But once you take it off, there's that beautiful little bow detail on the back, and I think that it's just very classy. So no matter how simple this top is, it's definitely on my to-do list. I am just excited to use different fabrics for the bow detail. You can make a white top with black bow in the back. You can make that bow out of a sheer fabric or contrasting fabric. I mean, you can make so many different variations. I'm just really excited to try this pattern. I just think it's chic, it's beautiful, it doesn't use a lot of fabric, it can be combined with so many different other details and so many different other garments. I definitely think it is a must. You gotta let me know which free sewing patterns did you like the most, so let me know in the comments below, okay? Well, and there you go, 12 free sewing patterns in this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any other must-have free sewing patterns for this fall season. Until next time, sew up a storm. That video that I promised will be right over here, and until next time, happy sewing, guys. Bye!